How's it going, fighters? This is Shamaro Dragon Fox at K9C coming at you with the next TNF podcast.
I'm Wolfpack, reporting for duty as per usual.
And I'm Pharaoh. I'm still here.
And yes, we are back for episode 15. Holy cow, we are getting into this, boys.
Yep, the big 1-5.
So we got quite a bit to talk about here, so we're just going to jump right into it. First off, Wolf, I believe you have some new SF6 speculations to discuss with us.
Indeed. So, as we all know, EVO is going down in Japan right now, and in terms of Street Fighter 6, it looks like we are at the final 6 right now, so the rest of the tournament is going to resume tomorrow. It is going to be ending roughly around 9 p.m. Eastern, I believe it is. But what's interesting enough is the fact that there was actually some teasing of Akuma's character theme during this weekend. So there's that. And then on top of that, we should be expecting something from Capcom in regards to an official gameplay trailer for Akuma, probably in around like the next week or so. Event Hubs did put up an article about this, and they did end up saying that, it would be tough not to have a Street Fighter announcement at EVO, especially considering the fact that out of all the characters for Season 1, Akuma is the most highly anticipated character. So...
I mean, no surprise there, because, it's Akuma.
Exactly. So, one way or another, we should be getting quite a bit of information, quite a bit more information about Akuma in, probably sometime this week, I would probably say. Again, as I mentioned, the SF6 tournament is going right now. We are left at the top 6. And so that's going to be resuming tomorrow, April 29th. And so once something tells me, somehow I can't speak here, something tells me that we could very well end up getting that gameplay trailer either before the top 6 begins or after the tournament wraps up. So
basically by the time this episode drops, people will already know.
Let's hope so. Let's hope so, because Capcom has been keeping this all under wraps for the past few weeks. Sorry, because we did end up getting the teaser trailer for Akuma about a month ago. So, it'll be interesting to see what direction Capcom goes in with regards to more information on Akuma. So, again, EVO is not done yet. We still have one more day left. That's for EVO Japan, by the way. In case some of you are getting confused, EVO North America doesn't happen for another couple of months. But yeah, large speculation surrounding Akuma. Hopefully getting a reveal sometime tomorrow. If not tomorrow, then sometime later on this week. But yeah, that's the buzz right now around everyone's favorite raging demon utilizing warrior Akuma. Sorry, that was a mouthful.
No worries, Wolf. Anyway, that's pretty cool. Moving on, I believe you have some other news about another game that I am personally looking forward to, a possible release window for Dragon Ball Sparking Zero.
Indeed, yes. So, nothing is confirmed yet, but it's very likely that Sparking Zero is going to follow in the footsteps of past Dragon Ball games, and the release date is either going to be sometime in fall of this year or in the winter of next year. We've seen...
Please be fall of this year. Please be fall of this year. Please be fall of this year. I want to play that game so badly.
Well, I mean, I don't blame you, and I can imagine that's, the way the majority of the fandom feels, but I will not be surprised if it comes out early 2025 due to, refinement issues and stuff like that, because
I mean, fair.
yes,
Like it is a pretty high specs game, and like with the Budokai Tenkaichi series, like they really can't afford to mess this up since it's been like years since they did 3. So
exactly. So, either it does come out sometime in the fall of this year, or it's going to come out in the winter of next year. So either January or February. I would say that if it's not coming out this year, I would probably say the latest, my prediction, the latest, I would say probably mid-March of next year.
fair. Like that's actually a fair assumption, Wolf, because again, like they do have over 140 some odd characters. So
Yep.
I mean, getting all those guys refined to where they need to be playable is going to be a hefty task. And sure, Bandai is definitely up to the task, but but even for them, it's going to be a titan task for them to complete.
Definitely. And in my eyes, it kind of feels like March 2025 would actually be perfect because that falls in line with the fact that the game's initial announcement came in March of last year. So,
Okay.
I feel like that can make perfect sense, but again, nothing's really confirmed, but if we're looking at, the patterns from previous Dragon Ball games, it's either going to be late 2024 or early 2025. So, for those who are wondering when it could possibly come out, see if you can, basically sharpen your focus within that time frame. I would probably say between September 2024 and March 2025. That would be the time frame that I would zero in on.
Fair enough. Okay. Moving back to Evo Japan, I believe we had a bit of an expo for 2XKO.
Indeed, we did. There will be some more action going down tomorrow, as tomorrow is the final day of Evo Japan at the time of this recording. And so there has been a very positive reception so far for 2XKO, especially surrounding our most recently revealed fighter, Ilaoi, the Kraken Priestess. She
Yes,
looks like
honestly,
an
like when
absolute
I first
beast.
heard you talking about her, it was like I thought, okay, and keep in mind, people, that I'm not a League player. I have seen the first season of Arcane, and I have played like a couple rounds of League, like uh, 8 odd years ago. So I had no clue about this character. And Wolf, I gotta say, like when I first heard you say Kraken Priestess, I thought she was going to be like a dainty, hood-wearing, staff-wielding character,
Oh, hell no.
but I was pleasantly surprised to find that she is just a beast of a brawler. Like and the fact that she matches up quite well with Ari in the game, like I think she and Ari are definitely going to be my main team for when this game finally comes out.
I agree. I was extremely impressed by some of the footage that some people have been able to put up of Ilaoi's gameplay alongside Ari, and we did get a taste of it beforehand when her character trailer dropped as well, not too long ago. So, definitely safe to say that she is definitely going to be one to watch out for, and something tells me that Ilaoi could possibly end up being a top tier character once the game releases. Because
No doubt. I saw the character breakdown for her, and it was like from the official Riot account, and oh my gosh, like not only is she a pressure brawler, but she's also got the tentacles to lash at long range. Like
right?
she is just crazy. Like she's just a crazy all rounder. And the amazing thing is, like, she's not a Showa character, but she still is very balanced in her. Like, this is a whole. Like, I think we might have a whole new category of a fighting game character, like coming from her, because this is just I like sure there's probably a lot of characters I've never heard of before, but I like this type of character is unprecedented for me at least.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And probably one of my favorite things about this game is that I'm curious to see who the best and worst matchups are going to be for Ilaoi once the game comes out. Because remember, there's almost 200 characters just in League proper. So just imagine how big the launch roster is going to be for this game, man. You're definitely looking at more than 100 characters. Definitely.
Which I'm kind of wondering, Wolf. I don't think we've ever talked about this before in previous episodes, but who would be your pick for add-in for the main roster?
That's a good question. I don't think we've discussed that.
Of the characters that you know of, because I know like you and I are not really informed about League lore, but
yeah.
from the characters that you know that aren't already in the roster, who would you like to see in the roster?
Well, Echo and Jinx, for one, are already in the roster, I'm pretty sure. So,
right.
There's them. But I would say I could definitely see Miss Fortune, Vi, Caitlyn, and there's another one on the tip of my tongue. I can't remember the name.
Mean, Vi and Caitlyn are kind of shoo-ins since that would line up with the second season of Arcane that's coming out in the near future. So
true. Plus you have Jinx anyway. So I mean,
yeah,
that all adds up perfectly. But yeah, I definitely see Vi, Caitlyn, and Miss Fortune all being in there as well. Again, those are like the only characters that I really know aside from Echo and Jinx. That's all thanks to Arcane. But yeah, I can definitely see them making it into the base roster, and honestly, I will actually be just a little bit upset if any one of those characters don't make the base roster at launch. Because, I mean, like, it's going to be really hard to wrap my head around that, but in my defense, and in your defense as well, as you mentioned, we don't really know too much about the champions of Runeterra.
About that, Wolf. I might like Arcane might be my main knowledge just in terms of lore, but I do know of other characters. I'm not totally ignorant of the rest of the roster. So speaking for my internet surfing, the two characters that I would personally want to see in the main roster, or at least as DLC down the line for 2XKO. Number one, I would love to see Kindred as like because she's kind of like a masked wolf character. I'm not sure how she actually plays in League, so I'm not sure how she would play in 2XKO. But she does look like a really cool character for me. I've always found like characters that are like non-human to be really cool.
Okay.
And then aside from her, definitely Soraka, because she is an awesome healer for the short time that I did play League, she was my main, and she was an awesome healer. So I can only imagine how she would play in a game like 2XKO.
Nice. All right. Nice.
Yeah. So those are my two picks for the 2XKO roster.
All right. Sounds good. And yes, again, this was just a demo showcase going down at EVO. Within the next few months, we'll probably be hearing more from Riot in regards to the introduction of more stages, more characters, so on and so forth. And hopefully we will start to get some play testing done as the year progresses, because we haven't really gotten any sort of play testing done yet from my understanding.
And that makes me very nervous as to like what consoles this will be available on, because like as you know, I am a Mac and Switch like kind of guy. So
of course,
like I'm kind of limited as far as what I can do. But you have like a PC, Xbox, PlayStation. So I am just praying that they release it for a Switch version. I mean, like I think the graphics would be just fine for like on the Switch. So I am hoping and praying that this gets a Switch release, because I need to play this like both with you and Pharaoh, and just on my own time, because this looks like an awesome game.
Well, I know for a fact it's pretty much confirmed for Xbox and PlayStation, so we don't have to worry about that. I'm pretty sure that it will be available for PC as well. It's just a matter of, well, I mean, it's probably going to end up being on Steam, right? So,
True, but it all depends on whether they're actually going to put it on like a Mac equivalent, though. Like
This is a good
some,
point.
like as you know, like a lot of the big name fighting games, like sure they're on Steam, but they're PC only. Like they don't have Mac variants. So
This is true.
Riot, Riot, if you are somehow listening to this and you are hearing me, you will make a ton of money if you A, put this game on the Switch, or B, put it on the Mac. Just I have money here for you to take. Take it. Just give me this game.
You
Just
know,
give me this game on the platforms that are available to me.
well, you know what? To be fair, you're probably not the only one who, feels that way. There's probably a good handful of fans who feel the same way. So don't worry, you're not the only one who hopes that their prayers don't go unanswered. I can tell you that much.
I mean, sure, like the Mac variant probably isn't as likely, but the Switch variant, come on, that's just money on the table right there.
It's a very good point. The only issue that I could see with that is, oh man. I mean, like, I know it's probably capable of running on Switch hardware, but it's just like making sure that everything works properly because they're, because like if you, oh man, I don't, oh god, what am I saying here? um, I was gonna use Mortal Kombat 1 as a bit of an example. It runs fine, but it's pretty slow on Switch. It's pretty slow, considering how huge the game is, and on top of that, the graphics they're not exactly on par with any of the other versions. Like even the Steam version of MK1 looks better than the Switch version. So there's also that as well that Riot is going to have to look out for is making sure that everything runs as smoothly as possible on all platforms.
True.
Consoles like Xbox
True.
and PlayStation, that's not going to be a problem. Steam, probably not going to be a problem either, but I'm specifically concerned about if they end up doing a Switch version of it and just trying to make sure that everything runs well. Best case scenario is that it'll look fine, but it'll probably end up playing at 30 FPS. So
I think there's a chance of it though, because I actually right now, yes, I'm doing this while we record. I actually just typed in League of Legends into the search box in the Nintendo online store, and while League of Legends itself is not listed in the initial search results, all of those League story games, they are listed here. So there is a chance, there is a definite chance that 2XKO will get a Switch release. And Riot, again, if you're listening, please, I am begging you on my hands and hang on. I'm sitting in a chair right now.
my god!
I am literally getting on my hands and knees right now and praying to you, Riot, please give this game a Switch release. I am on the floor right now. Literally, I am on the floor right now. I need this game. I need this game.
Well,
my 10 seconds of groveling are up. There you go. Please take it for what it is.
Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. That's just a little taste of the shenanigans that go on here at K9C. But yes, all joking aside, yes, I do believe that 2XKO is fully deserving of a Switch version, and hopefully we do get it alongside the Xbox, PlayStation, and Steam versions of the game. I'm very much hoping for that.
If we don't, I'm totally gonna go all medieval and get out the torches and pitchforks.
Don't go that far just yet, because we still need to find out if the game is also going to be available on Mac. If it's not available on Mac and it's not available on Switch, then yes, you can take up the.
I know that some games they'll get the initial releases on like the big name consoles and systems.
Yeah.
And then maybe like a year out they'll get like other editions out. So I will give them a year of breathing space, but then after that, it's no holds barred.
fair enough. That's completely fair in my book. So, we'll just have to wait and see what happens. Again, game is still in the early stages of development, so we still have a good few years before the full game releases. So, we'll just have to keep our eyes and ears open for, updates and stuff like that, and then just go from there. Take it all with a grain of salt, basically.
True. Anyway, let's get on from one speculative game that's on the horizon to another speculative game that's on the horizon, and that is, we just recently got a trailer for the new Hunter x Hunter Nen Impact game.
Yes, and literally,
oh my gosh.
Literally, the reveal trailer just came out, like, last week. It literally came out last week. So,
yeah.
Initial thoughts on what this game looks like and how it feels.
I mean, like, this looks like the first, it's the first of things to come as far as anime games taking the formula that Dragon Ball FighterZ gave us and just rolling with that. It's very much the same. It's 3-on-3 tag team fights. It's like your traditional 2D fighter, which is odd because I would have thought that a Hunter x Hunter game would have been more of a arena fighter, but the 2D space also works for me, honestly. And it I will admit that the trailer didn't the game in the trailer didn't look as polished as I might have liked it. Especially with the backgrounds didn't really look all that enticing to play in, but I'm sure they might just fix that. I'm sure they're going to fix that up later on.
Yeah, probably. I mean, I was pleasantly surprised at the fact that it's not only a 2D fighter, but it's also 3v3. It was definitely giving me major Marvel 3 vibes with just the way that it played, especially with your characters coming in to assist and then also being able to swap them out in the same fashion as Marvel 3. So, I mean, that right there already has got me hooked on this thing. Absolutely friggin' incredible.
And as someone who has played a little bit of DBZ of Dragon Ball FighterZ, I am definitely gonna give this game a shot. Even though I'm not like a real Hunter x Hunter fan, I've only ever watched maybe 2 or 3 episodes of the newer iteration of the anime. I might still give this a shot.
Yeah, I would honestly give it a fair shot as well. It's going to be very interesting to see what the roster's going to look like. How big is it going to be? What will DLC offer for us? And I mean, again, just like you, I know barely anything about Hunter x Hunter, but this, honestly, it seems very, very promising. It really does.
Yeah, it definitely has potential, and who knows? It could be a new like the next big anime game that gets a tournament.
It actually could be. I wouldn't be surprised if that were the case, and to be honest with you, that would be another gigantic win for the anime community in general, because I mean, you got this huge fan base for Hunter x Hunter, and then you also have the huge fan base for, the fighting game community. If you can bring those two together, nine times out of 10, it's going to be a hit. So, I mean, the game looks fantastic. Visuals are just incredible. Love the 3v3 aspect of it. And you know what? This is just the reveal trailer, but honestly, just from that, I wouldn't mind if they just released the game after that. Honestly, it looks that good.
Mm-hmm.
It's incredible. So that's something else that we're gonna have to keep our eyes on. And if you guys haven't seen the trailer already, look it up on YouTube. Hopefully none of you will be disappointed with how this thing looks, because god damn, it looks good. It looks so friggin' good.
Anyway, moving on, since we don't have a lot to talk about with the Hunter x Hunter game. Wolf, I believe Ed Boon had a little teaser for us with MK1. So, care to elaborate on that?
Indeed. So, Ed Boon himself put up he put up a post on Twitter, and this was also reposted by the official Mortal Kombat account. Ed Boon ended up saying that he and the rest of the team are extremely pleased with the positive reception for Ermac, who released fully not too long ago. I believe it was just last week, I believe, that he became fully playable for everyone. He's no longer in early access. And he also mentioned that there is still a lot more planned for MK1. This extends to online features, brand new moves, more cameos coming up, more classic outfits coming up. I know as of right now, there's MK3 Sub-Zero, there is Deception Sindel, and Deadly Alliance Shang Tsung in the shop at the time of recording. So it's going to be awesome to see what other classic outfits they bring back. They already did the rest of the MK3 outfits for Scorpion, Reptile, and Smoke, which is freaking amazing. They already also did Deadly Alliance Quan Chi, I think about a week ago. So that's awesome. And hooray, DLC characters are getting additional cosmetics as well. So huge win right there. But the real meat and potatoes of this tweet is the fact that attached to it was a 5-second clip of a pre-battle interaction between Liu Kang and Homelander. Now, keep in mind, we did not get a voice line for Homelander. It was simply just him and Liu Kang just facing off before going into battle. Now, as far as speculation goes, it's pretty much guaranteed that Homelander is going to be the next DLC fighter that comes out. But a lot of people are on the fence about this because, yes, Homelander is a perfect fit for Mortal Kombat. I mean, just look at freaking Omni-Man and Peacemaker. They fit perfectly into Mortal Kombat. But the problem is, unlike Omni-Man and Peacemaker, Homelander is not going to have the same voice that he had in The Boys. It's already been long since confirmed that Anthony Starr is not going to be voicing Homelander. And so it raises an interesting question of how certain characters can get voiceover approval while others don't. Because if we look back to Mortal Kombat 11, we did get the Terminator, and we ended up getting Rambo as well. However, they were able to get Sylvester Stallone to voice Rambo for the game, yet they weren't able to get Arnold Schwarzenegger to voice the Terminator.
Right, I remember that, which is honestly odd to me because Stallone, you think would be the harder actor to catch to get like into being a VA for the game, and yet they couldn't get Arnold. That's just odd to me, honestly.
Yeah, and I mean, on top of that, like, they weren't the only, like, big-name celebrities that ended up voicing characters in the game. Like, before the vanilla game even launched, we learned that Ronda Rousey was voicing Sonya Blade. So, like, it's really interesting how certain characters can get voiceover approval for different celebrities, but others don't. And that was doubled down on in MK1 because Omni-Man, they managed to get J.K. Simmons to voice him, and Peacemaker, they got John Cena to voice him. But Anthony Starr not voicing Homelander, it's just like, if he's not going to voice Homelander, then who is? Who else could possibly be suited enough and be like the perfect fit to voice Homelander? And this is weird coming from me because I don't even watch The Boys. I know nothing about this series, but even though I'm not a fan of The Boys and I don't know anything about it, even I'm, a little concerned and a little upset that Anthony Starr isn't voicing him. So it's it's really confusing. It's really confusing. I don't know if there was any sort of issue like this when they were doing DLC for MKX, which was horror icons for their DLC, but like, yeah, it's just weird. But nonetheless, we ended up getting a little tease of Homelander, and something tells me that probably within the next couple of weeks, I would probably say before Combo Breaker, we will likely get some more news on Homelander.
Cool.
Yep. And then
anyway,
from there, moving on to another reveal, we're going back to Fatal Fury City of the Wolves. SNK has been busy, and after the KOF 15 tournament wrapped up earlier yesterday, they dropped an official reveal trailer for Marco Rodriguez. Now,
oh my gosh, now, Wolf, I only just, like, literally, as you were talking about MK1 a moment ago, I was actually just looking at his reveal trailer, and oh my god, he looks so cool.
He does, doesn't he?
And he definitely seems like a guy that I would play, because, like, he looks like he does, like, he definitely looks like an old school Karai character, and, you know me with, like, Tekken and the Mishimas, and my thing with them, and because of their Karai style, like, I think Rodriguez is definitely going to be one of my mains for the game. Like, he definitely has, like, he's definitely a pressure fighter, but he's got, like, big, heavy moves, which, you know, I might be a Rexon character, but I can also appreciate those. And honestly, I cannot get over his look. Like, he looks like honestly, he kind of looks like Elvis meets I don't know, like some karate master. I'm trying to think of some sort of comparison for his karate gi get up, but I can't quite.
You know what? I can definitely see the Elvis there. It would be the hairstyle. I can definitely see it. I can absolutely see it, and that's what makes it so funny to me. That you would mention that, because it's like. It's like if you turned Elvis into a karate practitioner. Like,
yeah. Actually, so funny. Even better comparison. Just because of all the chest hair he's got going on. Have you ever heard of an anime called Bobo?
Wow, that's a mouthful.
Yeah,
I believe I have. Right. In passing, I think I've heard of it.
It's just a bunch of bows.
Pretty sure you did.
Yep, I've heard of it in passing.
One thing I know from that anime that I can remember.
Yeah, so for those of you who are not familiar with this retro, really niche anime, basically, the title of the show is also the name of the main character, which is awful to say, so everyone just calls him Bobo for short. But yeah, he basically is a fighting, he looks like a 70s disco dancer, honestly, but he definitely has like that martial arts like vibe to him, and he has a lot of hair on him. Like, he's got the huge blonde afro, he's got the nose hairs that he can whip around for some reason, and then of course he's got like the big chest hair showing out behind his V-neck, which honestly I think that's the biggest comparison like I could think of for Rodriguez is Bobo meets Elvis.
Yep.
And just some fusion of those guys. That's what I'm seeing here.
Definitely, I can agree with that. And what's really interesting about Marco is the fact that this is actually his first playable appearance in 25 years.
Ooh, that's a long time.
Yup, he made his debut in Garu Mark of the Wolves back in 1999, and he has made a handful of cameo appearances in other SNK fighters, including KOF, but he has never been playable between Mark of the Wolves and City of the Wolves. So
this is kind of like his triumphant return to the fighting game scene, essentially. Just kind of like the game is for Fatal Fury in general.
Exactly, yeah. So it's going to be interesting to see how things go with Marco. And on top of that, he actually has when he was playable in Mark of the Wolves, he actually has a lot of moves that are very similar to what we see from Ryo Sakazaki in the KOF series. He shares quite a number of moves there, so I don't necessarily think he's going to be a full-on Ryo clone, but there's definitely going to be a mixture of new moves and iconic ones that hardcore fans will recognize instantly.
Yeah, I must say, the finishers that they showed off in the trailer were freaking epic, and they make me want to main him even more now.
Oh, absolutely. I'm not going to be surprised if you end up going back and forth between Terry and Marco. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, although I will say the only real experience I have with Terry right now is what I have played of him in Smash Bros. So I'm not sure if I can really call myself a true Terry player. I think I'm just a Terry fanboy at this point. But who knows?
That's fair.
Once Save the Wolves comes out in early 2025, like the trailer said, I'll give him a shot and see how he plays. And you know what? His fighting style looks comfortable enough, so I might still main him.
Oh yeah, definitely. And while we're on the subject of reveals, another big one happened that some of the hype around it was kind of taken away a little bit, and it's really interesting why. So the game in question is Guilty Gear Strive. Earlier on, I think it was yesterday actually, there was a cardboard standee at the Guilty Gear booth that actually provided the full look at the silhouette for the next character in the Season 3 DLC. Now, I don't know if you saw this or not, but it has been posted on Guilty Gear's official Twitter account. And, yeah, let's just say that I'm pretty sure people already know who it is without him even being fully revealed yet. I don't know if you heard about it.
I honestly I don't keep all that informed on Guilty Gear stuff as of right now. So I'm all I know is from the script notes for this episode, it's Slayer.
Yep,
that's about all I know.
Indeed, it is Slayer. He is the resident vampire of the Guilty Gear franchise, and he fights with a swarm of bats flying around him, and he also apparently has he's got a pipe as well that he ends up using, not like an actual metal pipe or anything, but like a smoking pipe. He's got a smoking pipe. So I don't know anything about Guilty Gear either, but everyone pretty much knew that Slayer was going to be in, and Guilty Gear didn't even need to reveal it. They didn't even need to reveal it. They could figure it out just from the silhouette of the character.
Honestly, that is pretty impressive when a character gets so much loud with the game's audience, and like the players can just know at a glance, okay, so this awesome character that we've loved for however many years is finally coming to our newest favorite game in the series.
Yeah,
that's honestly just impressive to me. And I again, guys, we will definitely get more informed about Guilty Gear, especially Strive. At some point, Wolf is going to buy us the Guilty Gear Strive game so that we can start diving into playing that ourselves.
Yep, and next month is going to be really big for Strive as well, because we will be getting more information on this incarnation of Slayer next month. He's going to be coming out next month. We don't know if it's going to be in early May or if it's going to be in late May. We don't know. All we know is that he's coming out next month as Season 3 DLC for Guilty Gear Strive. So that is also something to definitely something to look forward to.
Yes, and on the subject of us buying games and playing them for you guys, we can say for certainty right now that we are going to get back into the YouTube channel. It's only a matter of time. Right now, we're just kind of trying to solidify a new recording space and we've kind of found we just got to clean up and get the appropriate equipment. But rest assured, within the next month or two, we should hopefully be back up and running with the YouTube channel and bring you guys more regular episodes.
Yep, we are making progress, so don't think for a second that we have given up on the YouTube channel. We will make sure that we've got that back up and running as soon as we possibly can. So thank you very much for pointing that out.
Anyway, moving on. I think that concludes all the news topics we have. So on to Pharaoh, who has been silent this entire episode. You have a punch in the past from us with a very janky Dragon Ball game, apparently.
Yeah, that is right. I mean, on that punch in the past, I generally tend to cover the games that were less than good when they came out. And this week is no different, as I'm going to take a look at the infamous game we call Dragon Ball Z Ultimate Battle 22. Now, obviously, this was a game that came out in 1995 for the Japanese players, 96 for the European players, and for those of us in North America, 2003. Kind of a little bit late, and at least could have been developed a little better, if you'll ask me.
I agree.
Now, what exactly makes this game bad? Well, the biggest gripe that people are going to have is this game came out way too late for its graphical and, honestly, for its playability, especially here in the United States, Canada and the US. Now, it did have cell shading. That was a novelty back in 1995. You do have to give it that. I'm not going to needlessly shit on a game for 3 hours and at least not point out that there were a few good things that this game was able to provide. Right?
Yep.
Obviously, this game, as its namesake, has 22 characters. Well, and there's also 5 extras, one of them being mistakenly named incorrectly. That would be Gogeta, who is, for some reason, named Vegito instead.
Well, it depends on what happened there, because Vegito is an actual fusion character in the Dragon Ball series, Pharaoh. So it depends on if they just mixed up the names with the character models, or if it was actually just legit Vegito.
No, it was mixed up in the U.S. release only.
Okay, answer me this though. So the character that was named Vegito in the game, what did he have? Was he wearing a full-on shirt, or was he wearing a vest with the chest open?
As far as I can find, he had a vest with the chest open. So
okay,
it was
so that
just named wrong.
Okay, yes. In that case, yes. And as a Dragon Ball fan myself, that just makes me upset.
If you have the Japanese or the European versions that came out in 95 or 96, this is not an issue. It was just in the North American version that it was screwed up.
Localization issues, everybody.
Obviously, this thing's little mechanic is it also has in addition to a health meter, it has something called a strength meter. So you're able to perform special moves, like the Kamehameha, of course, if you're playing Goku. But you can only use you can only have a limited amount of use of your special moves repetitively before you start draining out your strength meter. And once the thing is fully depleted, you can't do anything until you've at least recovered a little bit of it by holding 3 buttons down at the same time, which makes you vulnerable to melee attacks.
Okay, now hang on. So it sounds like you're describing an endurance meter to us here, which isn't necessarily a bad mechanic to have, but the fact that you have to hold down 3 buttons to get that crap powered up again, that just seems unreasonable to me.
Yeah,
well, it's ridiculous.
Alternatively, you can literally just get hit. Because you're immune to what is it, the magic damage or special, anything that's not melee damage, you're not going to take anything from. But if it's melee damage,
gotcha.
You'll get hit. It can really be any special. You're also you are able to fly. Well, all but 2 characters can. But there is a ground mode and an aerial mode. I have to say that's really cool.
I mean, that's kind of standards for Dragon Ball games, but I mean, I guess back in those days, it was kind of like a novelty.
Yeah, I would say so.
I'd have to say the funniest criticism of this game had to come from Electronic Gaming. No, was it Electronic Gaming Monthly? No.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you said it was.
I don't remember which one it was. Yes, it was Electronic Gaming Monthly. So now the individual who wrote that article said that basically compared it to someone who cracked in a jewel case and passing it off as a game. Now, that's not good.
No, it's not.
Mind you, if this was back in 1995, I'd understand and it'd probably do a bit better, but deciding to save it for 7-8 years kind of came a little bit too late.
Yep, because I believe just a couple of years later, that's when the PlayStation 2 would come out, correct?
Yep, it was just a few years before the PlayStation's original lifetime ended.
Absolutely unreal. And you know what? Like, it's funny because this game is so bad. It's so bad that it got featured in the worst fighting game, which is a series done by none other than popular fighting game enthusiast Matt McMuscles, who is also one of the 3 co-hosts for the fighting game podcast Triple KO, where he is joined by Justin Wong and the one and only Maximilian Dude. So, yeah, if you think it's bad enough just listening to Pharaoh describing it, believe me, if you go and watch the episode that Matt did for the worst fighting game based on DBZ Ultimate Battle 22, oh my god. There is a good reason. There is a very good handful of reasons why this could be considered one of the very worst games of this genre. It is so bad. My words can't even begin to describe it. You'd be better off listening to Pharaoh talk about it, and you'd be better off listening to Matt McMuscles rattle off all the reasons why it's terrible.
Definitely. Besides, it's not difficult to make a fighting game not horrible. But I guess this one somehow slipped through the cracks.
Yeah, definitely. It definitely did. Considering the fact that also in around 2003 when this game came out, I mean, you're also looking at new titles from King of Fighters. You were looking at new titles from, I believe, from Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat. I think maybe a new title from Tekken. So it was going up against some heavy competition in the West, and safe to say, like, this game is bottom of the barrel trash. Actually, I don't even think you could call it trash. It is much worse than
that. It's the piece of litter that someone tries to throw in the trash, but it ends up bouncing off the lip and falls into the middle of the street, then gets run over by a truck, and then falls into the sewer.
Oh no! Oh, that is. Oh god. I don't even have a response for that.
No, really.
Jesus.
Honestly, it may be one of the worst ones out there, but at least definitively it's not the worst one.
Yep, this is very true. This is very true. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Dragon Ball Z Ultimate Battle 22, our subject for this week's Punch to the Past. Now, we don't have a lot of time left, but we do have enough time to get through our discussion topic and our dream roster. So, the discussion topic that we have on hand, which was actually suggested by Pharaoh, is talking about issues that could plague fighting games over the course of the next decade. So, Pharaoh, given that this was your suggestion, would you care to perhaps elaborate and share your thoughts?
Kindly, of course. Now, there's a couple of major issues, one of which that I believe is true and the other that I think is speculative. First, I'll start off with a speculative thing is, loot boxes. Now, obviously, considering the recent implementation of the essential equivalent of a Fortnite battle pass in the major fighting games, our AAA titles, Tekken 8, Street Fighter 6, and Mortal Kombat 1. I believe Mortal Kombat 1 less so than the other two.
Yep,
correct me if I'm wrong.
Yep, the big three definitely took inspiration from Fortnite. SF6 and TA both have battle passes, whereas MK1 has a rotating premium store.
All right, so at least that's a little bit different.
Yeah, but still taking
here,
from Fortnite.
Right, but the main issue here is, what if that's not the end of it?
Ooh.
And, the loot boxes, where you could pay some money to try to buy some cosmetics and stuff, because not like Star Wars Battlefront didn't try that. And,
they tried that and they failed miserably.
As far as I am aware, EA ended up I believe they got sued over that because...
Rightfully so.
In the European Union, that would be considered gambling.
Yep, definitely. There's justifiable grounds for that.
I see in the future, this could be a verifiable attempt at fighting games to try to milk any more money out of their players. Honestly.
Yep.
More than what's already going on right now.
I could definitely see that.
Yeah. Based on how much the big three have kind of ramped up on that stuff, it's no surprise. It's not surprising to me that could be a more major thing down the line. Unfortunately.
Right. And then that leaves to my other issue is the aging player base.
Right, because I think you were giving us some stats where over 50% of fighting game players currently is over.
Hang on. 35? I'm quoting that statistic that I was able to find that they used it was a singular Facebook group that has a total of 46,000 individuals inside of it. But they were able to conclude that 55% of those players are between the ages of 35 and 44. Yeah, 10 years from now, those players are still probably going to make up a significant portion of the player base.
Right,
because
Right, because they were the players that basically made up they were the kids back in the 80s and 90s, and they're the ones who played the old arcades machines and such, and kind of brought the fighting games into the limelight.
Exactly.
Right. That issue means because this is a large portion of the player base, the games themselves will probably continue to cater to that portion of the fan base and alienate the younger players, which could, spray them away to other games in itself.
This is very true, and by no means are we saying that there aren't any younger players that are playing these games. It's just the fact that those groups, those demographics, they hold a much smaller percentage of the fan base compared to, what is considered the majority.
Then you have the other gaming titles like Call of Duty and Fortnite, which shooters are generally more popular than fighting games with younger audiences as of this moment.
Absolutely.
True. Which and this is a good way to lead into the talk that I wanted to bring up in relation to this is I'm not sure if you guys watched this before we started recording, but I did give these two a video by a YouTuber named Sprono, I think I'm saying that right. But basically, they were going into, and this is bringing back 2XKO for a second here. Basically, the video kind of talks about how Riot is kind of going to be a new contender in the fighting game scene. To really go up against the big three, simply because one, they are probably going to have better business practices than Bandai and Warner Brothers and Capcom probably have right now with their current lineup of games, but also because they have brand recognition that would bring in a huge player base into the fighting game community. Like, I can't quote the stats off the top of my head, but I know that, like, aside from their main fighting games that maybe got into like the 5, maybe even 6-digit player bases at some point. League at any given time has player bases in the millions monthly basis, and I think if you did make a fighting game out of a franchise like that, like there's going to be a lot of people coming over from the main league title to try out this fighting game, and that could bring in some new blood into the fighting game community. And this by extension is going to force all the old timer companies who have been at this for a while, who have stuck to their guns with the old arcade style of fighting games. It's going to force them to have to adapt or die on the wayside. As far as the new games they come up with later on, like, sure, like that player base that Pharaoh was talking about, that the 50% that are kind of in the older side of things, that grew up with the arcade and cabinets, they're the guys who are like used to doing all those crazy configurations for their button inputs to pull off these crazy moves and all these crazy mechanics that just keep getting added on each game. But that's not going to be as rewarding of a game play style for younger demographics. And if Riot can do 2XKO right, I think it could bring in a lot of new blood and show other more veteran game companies that they do need to adapt and be more catering, and even in the competitive side, allow people to not have to be forced to play with the convoluted classic arcade control schemes.
Definitely. And something that I would want to add on there as well, my biggest fear would be a lack of balancing between the two sides of the player base, because you have your competitive players and you have your casual players. And I've said this multiple times on the podcast. I've stressed it before. I will continue to stress it. One key thing to making a really good fighting game is ensuring that you can cater to both sides of the coin. Because there are games, yes, that will cater a little too much towards the competitive scene, while others will cater a little too much to the casual scene. A perfect example that I've brought up in the past, Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite. When it was first revealed, everyone thought this was going to be the next big thing, that this was going to be probably as big as Marvel 3, but ultimately when it launched, it was just, it felt really watered down, and it definitely catered way harder to the casual audience than it did to the competitive audience. There wasn't even really, yes, there were some tournaments for this game, but it never made it to any of the really big tournament stages that we know of. So
yeah, it was definitely too button mashy. But I mean, competitive versus casual is sure, if you get into more crazy button inputs, that is more of a competitive game. But as far as but once you start to simplify the control scheme, then casual versus competitive kind of becomes a matter of perspective and how good those controls actually handle. I mean, say the more modern control scheme for SF6. I think if people accepted that control scheme as a legit control scheme for competitive play, it could still be viable. And basically what I'm saying is there is a way to make competitive play really accessible to a lot of people, but you're not getting so, but the gameplay in the mind games can get deep enough that it still kind of carves out space for purely competitive players. I don't think the two are necessarily as exclusive as we think they are, but yeah, there is some common ground that I think could be established if control schemes were simplify a bit, and maybe maybe we should take a cue from 2XKO and give like the whole control thing like a whole overhaul in terms of how we perceive it, and what is considered competitive or not. I think once we get that question out of the way, then we might see some common ground between the casuals and the competitive players, and we might finally get an end to this freaking flame war between them.
Yep, you know what? I don't disagree with you on that fact. I mean that discussion has been raging on for decades upon decades, and like it's crazy how you can go through all kinds of forums and social media platforms, and you'll see it like in like almost every post that you find there. So hopefully this lack of balance between between attracting casual and competitive audiences, hopefully the lack of balance there will disappear, or if it doesn't fully disappear, then maybe like at least dissipate significantly as the years go on, because ultimately, and I've also mentioned this many times and will continue to until the end of time, video games are meant to be enjoyed, right? Just have fun. Doesn't matter if you're competitive, doesn't matter if you're casual, just have fun, right?
Yeah, and they're also supposed to be like ever changing and ever improving, and like we still got companies like Capcom and Bandai who are still kind of stuck in the arcade days of the 90s. So I think this is kind of a wake up call. Like I think 2XKO has kind of given them a wake up call, or should give them a wake up call, or will give them a wake up call. Whatever it happens, it is essentially a wake up call saying that the fighting game scene, it needs to change if it's going to bring in new blood and survive for the long term. And like I think Riot's going to be a pioneer in this overhaul of what is considered competitive versus casual in terms of the FGC. And I think Capcom, Bandai, and NetherRealm is really need to get on board with that, or else they're really just going to be left to the wayside. I mean, like at this point, like if that happens, if the main three were eventually did eventually drop off, like the only thing that you would have like competing against Riot would be Nintendo with Smash Bros. And then the indie game scene, which that's just exploding right now with a number of fighting games that are coming out right now, like Combo Devils, Frame Makers, and all those good games that are coming out that are trying their hand at the fighting game scene. So I think we're gonna be seeing some definite upheaval in the next decade as far as the gaming scene for fighting games. But I don't think it will necessarily be bad.
Well, only time will tell. So we'll simply just have to keep our eyes and ears open, take everything with a grain of salt as things go along, and we'll see what happens. So
Indeed.
With that,
anyway, we have battled on for quite a bit about that. So I think it's time we wrap this up and get on to our final segment, which is the dream rosters. So Pharaoh, you've been quiet for a little bit since the discussion talk started. How about you go first with your dream roster?
Oh, you're setting this up for me. I don't have one at the moment right now.
Dang it, Pharaoh.
I've been losing a lot of my good ideas, and frankly, I haven't had any for a good while.
It's okay. Sure. He's still catching on here. It's all right. Things happen. I know I might be a little too forgiving, but shit happens. So
yep. Don't worry, Pharaoh. Like just do some internet searching and just try to get those creative juices flowing, and we'll see what you get for us next week. Okay, I guess it's just down to you, me, Wolf. So, yep. Wolf, you had another like comedic sort of idea for a fighting game. So, how about you tell us about that?
For sure. Well, first things first, we are running short on time, so I'll just skim through mine here. Mine is basically centered around brands of chocolate bars. So, I'm talking Mars, I'm talking Snickers, I'm talking Twix, Hershey's. I'm talking all of that goodness. I say it would be Probably a platform fighter, and the main method of combat would pretty much be utilizing the different ingredients within these chocolate bars as weaponry. So,
I
for
could definitely see that working. Like, especially if you're brought on like the Canadian chocolate bars, like Arrow. I could definitely see the
yes,
Arrow bowls coming into play if they were in the game.
yep, the cookie bits from Hershey's Cookies and Cream,
Oh yeah.
the wafers from the Kit Kats, just all sorts of craziness. So that, simply put, just a fighting game based on chocolate bar brands. I think that would be pretty freaking cool. Definitely would cater towards a much younger audience, and it would just be, well, I mean, it would cater to all demographics, but I would say it would primarily be focused more on a much younger demographic. I'm talking kids here because, I mean, come on. We were all kids once. You know how we get when chocolate is involved. So, I definitely think it would be pretty freaking cool if something like that were to exist.
Awesome.
And so, what about you, Shamara? What did you come up with for your dream roster this week?
So again, I have gone back to the bowels of the House of Mouse, and from the depths of Disney, I have brought back a franchise that really needs a new coat of paint, which I think a fighting game could help it with. Is the Pirates of the Caribbean franchise.
All right, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, so like all your good classic characters, like of course Jack Sparrow, Will Turner, Davy Jones, obviously, Elizabeth Swann. You know, like just all the good characters, like all the Black Pearl crew, like Barbossa and Gibbs. You definitely have to have Gibbs in there somewhere.
Oh, definitely.
And of course, at some point we would have to have that damn monkey somewhere in the.
Yeah, absolutely.
Honestly, no disrespect to the attempts made at the later movies, but it's not a true Pirates movie unless the monkey is playing some sort of role. I'm not counting Stranger Tides because the monkey was just kind of a cameo in the bottle for that movie.
It's true.
So not counting that, but the original three for sure. I'm definitely counting that. And as for like how it would play, I could definitely see this as being like a Mortal Kombat clone. Like
Ooh.
I think there's and I can definitely see some cool mechanics as far as like movement. Like I mean, sure you would have your stages which take place on like on the ports and you know the different islands that they visit with all the different set pieces, but definitely one of the main I think draw points for this game would be if they put certain stages on the famous ships from the movies, and say during the battle, the ships themselves rock and tilt back and forth, and maybe like if you're going like if it's tipping one way and the character is like going downwards, their dash is a lot faster, but say if another character is trying to go upwards, their speed is a lot slower. So I think that could definitely bring in for some interesting movement options. And then you like of course like it is a pirate ship on the open seas. Aside from the waves, you'd also have to have like hazards, like stage hazards, because you know it's just how they sail at this point. Like there would definitely be like some cannon fire in the background, maybe some cannonballs come raining down. I could definitely see the Flying Dutchman having some like parts of the ship's hands like coming up from the deck, or some Kraken tentacles coming down from the seaside. So like honestly, like there's a lot of potential in that kind of a game. So I would definitely like Disney, if you ever get around to making a game like this, like call NetherRealm Studios. I'm sure they would love to make a game like this.
I definitely think it would be right up their alley for sure, monetization aside. But yeah, that sounds freaking incredible, man. That sounds so awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, I think, and as far as like how the characters would fight, definitely gotta be swords.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It would feel wrong to have a fighting game surrounded by pirates, based on pirates, and not have swords be a weapon.
Well, them and plus a little bit of pistol play, and then
Yep.
you got characters like Calypso who would like do a lot of magic and curses and stuff. So there would be a lot of variety in the playstyles, I think.
Definitely. And you know what? you can almost never really go wrong when it comes to variety in terms of movesets for fighting games. So
Indeed.
it's very ambitious. I friggin' love it. I don't know if it's ever going to happen in the future, but I damn sure hope it does.
Me too. Me too.
Well, with all that said, I believe it is about due time to wrap all this up. So, thank you all, as per usual, for listening to the podcast, for supporting it as well. I've mentioned it before. I will continue to mention it. Tell your friends, tell your family members, tell your significant others, tell anyone and everyone you know. Hell, if you want your pets to join in as well and listen, by all means, bring your cat, bring your dog. Not so sure about maybe a hamster or a guinea pig.
Come on, hamsters can get in on this action. Come on.
Okay, yeah, that's fair. They can get on this too, but yeah, tell anyone and everyone you know.
Bring the ferrets in. That's what you need in this is the ferrets.
Ah, okay, that's fair. That's totally fair. But yeah, just tell anyone and everyone you know about Canine Calamity, about True North Fighters. Can tell you this, you guys hopefully will not be disappointed. I would hope that we haven't disappointed any of you guys. And if somehow that's happened, then I apologize on behalf of K9C. But we're
still learning, so we're only gonna get better from here on.
Exactly, so it's only up from here. We're just getting started. It's still season 1, so we still have plenty of stuff to cover. Way more stuff to cover in the future beyond season 1. So, yeah, be sure to also make sure to follow us on social media if you guys have not done so already. And, yeah, just overall, thank you so much for supporting us, being patient and understanding with when our episodes go up. And so, yeah, I don't think there's really anything else that I can say at this point.
Yep. So from all of us here at KINC, stay safe. I guess we're kind of out of the stay warm season now. I think we're getting into the season where we can start saying stay frosty.
I think so. I definitely think so. So with that, and I cannot believe that's the third time now in probably about a few minutes that I've said that. All that aside, thank you so much for listening. This is Wolfpack signing off.
This is Shamara the Dragon Fox.
And that's that from us, everybody.
Yep. Most importantly, never forget
Fight on.
Fight on. We'll see you all in the next one. Have yourselves a great day, great evening, great night, great morning. Doesn't matter when you're listening. Just make sure you have yourselves a good one. All right? We'll see you guys next time.